I want to turn to MYEFO here. On Monday we put the numbers out, or the government put the numbers out, and we've seen a cutback in that surplus by about $2 billion. Some change in the forecast surpluses over the next period of the forward estimates. But broadly speaking, all the economists and the analysts I looked at a few days after that put the opposition to one side, who were cranky about this, that and the other thing. It was pretty much as expected, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's true. It broadly was as expected. Although I think it's worth stressing just how fragile, how vulnerable, if you like, these surpluses are. I mean, the $5 billion surplus this year, for instance, I mean, that's in relation to $500 billion of spending, and the final surplus in the fourth year is only $4 billion. And if you add up all the surpluses that were forecast back in April compared to now, the sum is about halved. So if the same kind of process happens again, then they'll be effectively wiped out. And I think you could assume that there's a good chance of that. I mean, the main reason why $33 billion of revenue was wiped off the forward estimates was because of slowing wage growth. And the government has reduced the rate of wage growth that it expects, but it's still not with the level in reality. And so if the forecast wage growth rate does actually fall down to about 2.1, 2.2, which is the reality, then you're going to see further write-downs in revenue that will certainly threaten those surpluses.
We're hard markers though, aren't we, Terry? Because we compare these current periods of time with Australia's boom time, and if we compare Australia with the current world climate, we're doing okay.
Well, we're doing okay, but I mean, it's not something. I don't think we should get hung up on the budget bottom line as somehow the marker of how well we're doing. Clearly, we're getting most of our growth, as Adam has written about frequently, from very strong population growth and all the things that flow from that, which mostly are catching up with that reality: infrastructure, building new apartments, and so on. And as Adam says, those numbers are very fragile. And again. In terms of that out year, 4 years' time, that the surplus is only going to be $4 billion, that's got a lot of bracket creep still built.
But this is, just let me jump in there, this is the Ponzi scheme of immigration, because we bring more people in to improve the numbers of housing and construction and infrastructure, so that's where the jobs are.
There's not actually any
and then there's more people. So what are we actually really building and doing in this country if you take population out of it?
Yeah, exactly.
What are we?
Exactly. Well, what we're doing is relying on the resources sector. Particularly iron ore.
Thank God for coal. We see these numbers today.
Exactly. But I was going to make the point, it's precisely the sector that large elements of the elites want to wipe out.
That's the danger, isn't it?
Mm.
So, Adam, you know, my constant worry, and you've been inside government as well, we have one of the most generous social welfare systems in the world, and pensions and family payments and health systems. All of these things are predicated on us having money to spend so that we all have an improving standard of living and not a declining standard of living, but we've got to pay our way somewhere.
Yeah, so look, that's right. The scary thing, I guess, in terms of the forecasts is that all the spending is obviously baked in. I mean, it's certainly going to happen. The range of uncertainty around spending is very low, but about revenue it's very high. And you mentioned earlier about the resource sector. Well, I mean, here's an amazing stat. You know, the resource exports last year to the rest of the world were about $185 billion, and that's great. We've been getting fantastic prices, but our merchandise imports, if you like, in advanced manufactured goods were also about $185 billion. So if the revenues from our resource exports ever fell away, we wouldn't be able to afford all of this advanced machinery that we so need to boost our productivity going forward.
So I want to put you on the spot. Next year, just quickly, a quick word response. Next year, is it going to be a good year or a bad year economically, do you think?
Oh, look, I think a good year probably because of the presidential election in the US. There'll be a lot of stimulus measures there, I'd say, and that's going to buoy the world economy. And of course, we'll benefit from that
Terry
too.
McCrane?
More of the same domestically, pretty much what it was in 2019. But as Adam said, we may be saved by the US.
Let's hope we are. Let's hope we are.